8 p.m. regarding conflict with legal counsel's anticipated litigation, one possible case, student system matters, conflict of labor negotiators, agency and CSCA, public employee appointment, coordinator, equity, diversity, and support system, and coordinator, multi-tiered system of support for behavior, and public employee performance evaluation superintendent.
Leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Mr. Danny
Madam
Burnett.
President, I need to speak for that. The board appointed Antonia Hunt as a coordinator, equity, diversity, and support system effective May 6, 2022, by a vote of 4-0, with Bridge, Nah, Schaefer, and Ghani voting yes, and Cruz absent, and appointed Eunice Castanos as coordinator, multi-tiered system of support behavior effective May 6, 2022, by a vote of 4-0, with Bridge, Nah, Schaefer, and Ghani voting yes, and Cruz absent. No further action taken.
Leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight is Mr. Danny Menendez, President of Cscw.
You can, please stand. If you have a head covering, please remove it. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are now in comments from our student representative, Mrs. Kent.
Very good evening, everyone. I want to give a short time because we're entering a long meeting tonight, so let's get to it. May 1st,
My mom is going to take the seat.
we're a college foundation.
If they won't just shuffle her next door, will they?
Congratulations.
I don't know.
She's going to speak, so
Yeah, when she fills out the card, I'll see her name.
it's already out. The card's already filled out. It's up there. I just need you to let her in when she gets.
When they call me, they say I'm going to speak in a minute. There's a lot of people over there that speak. So
Today, May 5th, please click down on the CE website. With AP testing season reaching full power, I want to wish all of our testers good luck and say congratulations on marking the completion of a very long year. Don't forget to take care of your physical and mental health and get good night's sleep. And lastly, congratulations to new student board member appointee Maya. The next meeting will be my last meeting on the school board, and I'm incredibly proud and excited to pass the seat on to the next student board member. That will be it.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. We're now at item 1D, comments from employee representatives. We'll start with Ms. Brenda Walker, ACT President.
President Dominic, school board members, Superintendent Enfield, district cabinet, and community. How many weeks until the end of the traditional school year? Yeah, see, I'm not surprised that students and educators know the number of days without presentation. Why? One reason could be because families have great vacations or even staycations planned. It could be because students can't wait to go from elementary to junior high or junior high to high school, or because some can't wait to graduate and get their adult lives started, and that's exciting. But you know another reason why everyone can tell how many days are left so quickly, because there's still work to be done. And none of us have a second place. None of us. Students, teachers, administrators, staff, none of us. The CBUSD school community can't afford to lose focus. Aside from the celebrations and recognitions that students work so hard to achieve and so rightfully deserve, there's still a lot to be done. There are still learning units to prepare and teach. There are still statewide tests to take, IEP meetings, STEP meetings, other meetings that need to be scheduled and held, presentations to share, reports to write, complete review and submit. All the things that are included in running a school district with educators educating and students learning and achieving. We don't have time to lose focus. Because when we lose focus, students don't get what they deserve, which is the best that we have to offer. So I implore you to focus. Focus on the fact that this week is Teacher let teachers know how valuable they are to this district. And on behalf of all the teachers, we appreciate it, parents, administrators, and staff. We thank you for all the creative and thoughtful ways you are showing your appreciation for teachers. Here's something else before you can focus on. Focus on all the things you can do and to retain education in this district. So many of our teachers, not only teachers, but nurses, counselors, psychologists, are seriously weighing their options for next year. And it would be a great loss to our district if they found a district home somewhere else because you failed to show your appreciation for those folks. Lastly, I hope you get my point. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I hope that you stay focused so that our students receive the education they deserve. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Mr. Danny Hernandez, CSCA President.
Thank you, President Gagne, board members, Superintendent Enfield, Cabinet, community, and staff. I want to start off by congratulating or recognizing National Teacher Appreciation Week of May 1st to 7th. Like Ms. Walker brought out, the teachers, counselors, nurses, that special day of recognition. It's very much appreciated for all the work that they do for our students, staff, and community. Once I became president and realized that this was an every year thing, every year I always wanted to make sure that I recognized Mr. Dave Fackler. He was a teacher of mine back when I went to high school. But I always wanted to make sure that I did recognize him. Still to this day, I have a hard time calling him Dave. Still, it's Fackler or Mr. Fackler. And then with May 11th being School Nurse Day, their work is invaluable to our staff and ours, specifically our students. May 15th through May the 21st is Cscw Appreciation Week, which is Classified Appreciation Week. This week is to celebrate the work and dedication these strong individuals provide to the students, staff, parents, and community on a daily basis. So many to mention, but like Ms. Walker mentioned, there are many things that take place that are done behind the scenes. Getting ready for the end of the school year is just the start. It's ending the school year, getting things prepared for the next school year is our busiest time of the year. So I do want to make sure that I do recognize and appreciate the classified staff, especially this coming week of May 15th through the 21st. Lastly, graduations is among us. CBU is finding out and talking to a lot of other districts or CSCA presidents. CBUSD is unique in that we, as a district, allow staff, administrators, teachers, and also the classified staff. They have the opportunity to hand one of their graduating high school family members their graduation diploma on that special day. Finding out and again talking to community or different districts, this is unique to CBUSD. And I just wanted to make sure that I extended that appreciation and that thank you to the board and cabinet. And with that, that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Mr. Barbara Bearden, Camp President.
Good evening, President Gagne, school board members, Dr. Enfield, Cabinet, and Chino Valley community. Happy Cinco de Mayo. First, I'd like to congratulate our two new coordinators in student support services and health services. I know site administrators are excited to work with you. This evening, I would like to recognize our teachers and school nurses. Teachers, thank you for the tireless work you do for our students to ensure they are prepared for the next grade, the next chapter in their educational career, or for life. You have an incredible impact on our students. Nurses and health techs, we are beyond thankful for you, especially this year. We know it has been difficult to work under some extreme circumstances thanks to the pandemic, but you persevered and our students are in school because of your diligence. Earlier this week, CHAMP members celebrated with Mr. Bigbeiner and his family as he received the Middle Grades Administrative Year Award. I would like to thank the CHAMP members for their attendance. Additionally, we celebrated Dr. Parks and Mrs. Chase's daughters as they both received access scholarships. It was a very special night. CHAMP members, please remember, tomorrow is the last day to secure your CHAMP polo. If you have not done so, please complete the Google form by the end of the day on Friday. And our next CHAMP meeting is scheduled for Friday, May 13th. That's going to be a fun day at 6:30 a.m. via Zoom. We hope you will all join us. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now at item 1E, comments from the audience on items not on the agenda. Pat, do we have any requests to speak on non-agenda items?
8 more non-agenda items.
Speakers will be called to order the request was received. Please listen for your name and be prepared to approach the podium. Any comments on agenda items will be accepted during consideration of that item. Once the board has commenced deliberations on an issue, speaker cards will not be accepted. The board is very interested in your comments, so please bear in mind that the board typically does not respond to comments during this time on the agenda, as it is reserved specifically for public comments. Individual members may respond to your board comments at the end. Additionally, the board does its best to support the public's right to address elected officials. It is also important that the board conduct its business in an orderly and fair fashion, as provided in Board Bylaw 9323. In the event that an unusual amount of speaker cards is submitted for any item, the board will hear up to 30 minutes of comments. In the case of non-agenda items, the board can, if it chooses, hear the remainder of comments after all business has been conducted. Further, this bylaw states, in part, individual speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. A speaker may not use the podium for purposes other than addressing the board directly. If there are no further comments, a speaker will be considered to have relinquished his or her allotted 3 minutes. This means that speakers cannot donate their time to another speaker, which in effect will give that speaker more than 3 minutes. The exception to this is when non-English speakers require a translator. Mr. Nall, will you please explain the light system?
You may begin comments at green light. Yellow light means you have 30 seconds left, and red light means your time is over. Board Policy 1312-1 outlines the procedure for complaints against district employees.
The first speaker is student Jacob Costa, followed by Richard Wales, followed by Sonia Shaw. Jacob Costa.
Call out for Jacob Costa. He's a student. Jacob Costa is right there. Oh, wait, hey, Jacob. Calling your Jacob Costa? Okay, it's on you. It's as loud as it is always says. Technician, doesn't text it. I'm not a technician, but that's what they said.
Good evening, board members. My name is Jake Costa, I'm a student at
So
the
you can go on YouTube
I'm
and
here
put
to
it on
thank
and
Mr. Knott, Mr. Cruz, for working at my school. I got told from 10 students, thank you for sending some copies to the board of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Followed by Sonia Shaw, followed by Virginia Renteria.
If anyone has not read DOE investigation report, you've seen this. It's pretty disgusting. It's really disgusting. What I don't understand about this is why this right here wasn't called. There were things I read in this DOE complaint. Now, a little older than like when I was in sports, sexual harassment would have gotten you beat up and tossed out of the closet.
I don't look at each one carefully.
But this environment that we're seeing now in our school system, in our school district, we have an environment of violence.
students, young boys, young men, I don't know what you want to call them, that did what they were supposed to. We had coaches that didn't do what they were supposed to do. We had site admins that did not do what they were supposed to. And the problem is, this problem is still going on in different ways, shapes, and forms. It's going on. At the beginning of this school year, we need to do something. Something needs to be done about this. It needs to be done now before we end up with somebody stabbed, shot, raped, or killed. But that's up to you guys. I hope you find a good solution. It's not an issue. It's not.
Go ahead, Bob, followed by Virginia Renteria, followed by Oscar Avila.
Mic up.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ensfield, board and community members. My name is Sonia Shaw. I'm the president of a local advocacy group here in Chino Valley. I wanted to touch on a few things in open comments tonight. Number one, I am still actively seeking a solution and direction for our bus drive shortage and late start dilemma this coming up school year. I am begging all of you guys, again, to please reach out to your contacts and help work together to seek a solution, as this is going to cause a tremendous amount of problems. There was mention about waivers, etc., and I am sure you guys contacting Tony German's office will have a huge impact, especially you, Dr. Enfield, as I have contacted his office several times. Please help our children before this turns into a huge problem for our children and our stakeholders. Number two, special education. We all know that those parents have to deal with a lot, and I personally have heard some really horrific stories, but I'd rather focus on the solutions. In our school district, you have to usually pick mainstreaming or being in special education. Then you have to pick mild to college track versus mild to severe life track, skills track. But IDEA law is very clear that you have to tailor the program for each individual kid, which means this can actually be illegal. So there is one school in our district that has started a pilot program with 2 kids to allow blended with all 3 mainstream, mild to moderate classes. I would love to give you guys some contacts of parents that have special needs children here to be able to maybe learn a little more about these programs and get them more and more schools for us. Number 3, this one is SE866. Today, we've been watching all these bad bills up there, and it's moving forward to another committee. And as parents, we know our child best, and it does not make sense to allow them to choose to get to any vaccine at the tender age of 12. Let's be real. A 12-year-old has no capability of deciding something, especially when it comes to their health, in regards to that. Now, this can lead to a tremendous amount of unnecessary stress for our children, all while causing more division and possible horrific health risks. Maybe if something so horrific passes, we can agree to not push it here in Chino Valley, like other districts are already doing with bribery and coercion. I personally have seen it because my other daughter's enrolled in Pomona Valley. I have one enrolled in here, and they have the less lunch buses and all those. Come get your vaccine. We'll give you food. We'll give you books. We'll give you gift cards. We'll send you to sports. We'll give you a family 4-pack. I'm begging you, do not allow it to come here because our kids, I mean, we've already had enough division in our community recently, and we need to get back to the old Chino where we preserve values and our community works together. Also, I think we need to focus on getting leaders with common sense in any position going forward. And I'm asking the community to please vote responsibly because this past year has been hard on our children. Thank you.
Virginia Renteria, followed by Oscar Avila, followed by Nicole Vicario.
Mr. Shaker, you had asked me to bring some books, which I did. This is the book, it's perfectly normal, which is.
Speak into the mic, please.
Okay, I think it edges on pornographic. Perfectly normal, showing straight and gay homosexuality. Shows full-on pictures of
women and men with their pubic hair in the bed. Yeah, in the bed, it's disgusting. In the bed, this is what is into the schools. The other one, which the title alone says it's what it's about. My friend. This is the garbage that has infiltrated our school districts. I pray that CRT and the new term SEL, social emotional learning, is nipped in the bud. Parents, if you go outside, there's a lot of parents out there that we are sick and tired of this. We do need, as Sonia said, we do need a changing of the guard.
Yep.
What we have is we're infiltrating the schools to create racism. Just like our government, with that phony baloney Supreme Court judge that doesn't allow you to define a woman. Yes, and racism, yes, you married a white man. How much sense would that make? I'm just here because it's frustrating to no end what President Trump had put together, the 1776 project. If you've ever read it, it's a great thing to teach our children history, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, everything that he was taught. Just like we have a division, there's 99% of you that are here breathing freely, and maybe 1% that are masked up, sleeping on the border. This is America. I don't care. You can wear a mask, you can wear a glove. It's America. You should have a choice.
Yes.
Parents, and I'm urging all those parents that are watching online, you need to show up in masses in school, and you need to show up for
We're
the
here.
election coming up, because it is very important. One last suggestion that I might submit is that all of us that have had problems in the neighborhood, we have cameras. I have cameras all around my home. Why not putting why don't we put cameras in the school classrooms? Protect our homes, but what is more valuable than our home? Our children.
Yes.
Our children are the valuable.
Amen.
They could burn my house down, but don't touch my kids.
That's right.
So that is my suggestion, and I thank you. Thank you.
Oscar Avila, followed by Nicole Vicario, followed by Tyra Weed, and there's been a request for the speakers to please speak directly into the microphone so that people in the overflow can hear.
Thank you. Good evening, board. You guys look beautiful once again. No mask, except for the young lady. I bet you're beautiful behind that mask. I bet you are. Anyways, I want to thank you today for this night. I have a couple of comments. Somebody earlier commented, a parent commented on the AB2223, the minor consent for the vaccine. Being passed on to the next level. And I would say the reason why parents come here is we want to have parental rights. We want to be involved in our kids' life and their future and what they put in their bodies. So this bill would authorize or make it legal for a parent, for a child to get a vaccine under the age of 12, right? And we know as a parent you want to be in control of your children's future. Because, they're 12 years old, and at 12 years old we don't know much, right? I have a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old now actually. She's pretty smart, but she got a job here, so she don't really have a say so. But anyways, at that age, at 12 years old, they can't really make life, changing or life-altering decisions, right? But what it is we just found out today, right, that the FDA, right, rejected the J&J vaccine, right, for anybody under 18, right? So they're saying that a child under 18 cannot get a J&J vaccine. So they rejected it. So imagine if a 12-year-old chooses to get a J&J vaccine, right? And then the parent doesn't know, and then the child gets sick, right? Then why are you sick? Right? The kid's nervous, right? The kid's scared because they don't know they got a vaccine, right? So this kid got the J&J vaccine, and something's wrong with the child, right? Well, the child can't seek any proper medical help. The child can't seek any proper medical help because the parents don't know that the kid gets vaccine because there's a law that says that you can do it on your own if you're 12 years old or younger, right? So what I'm saying is, as parents, we ask you guys to help us keep our rights. They're taking away our rights little by little. They're being stripped away daily. Every day, there was a bill yesterday that they wanted to vote on. They didn't. Now they got the SB AB2223. So what it is you guys were elected, right, for our community, right, as leaders, right, as people that we trust our children to. So I want you guys to step up and do something, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, they're getting ready to talk our kids, right? The kids probably don't go ahead and get the vaccine. We just went out today, right, the FDA rejected the J&J vaccine because it's giving them blood clots. Okay, so it's illegal for a kid now under the age to get the J&J vaccine for the blood clots, right? So we're having you guys to ask for us to please speak for us, right, and fight for our children, because we're literally losing the rights to our kids, right? And you are here as part of the school district representing our children, right, speaking for us, right, to the state, to the governor, right? So write another letter, do another amendment, do another bill, do something, right? Be our voice, right? We need you right now. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Followed by Nicole Vicario, followed by Tiber White. Cassandra Sanchez.
I'm in the right spot.
Cassandra Sanchez. Cassandra Sanchez.
You're up.
Hello, and good evening, everyone. I'll be reading this on behalf of my aunts and my family. You heard them yourself, folks. Those teachers out in the abundance of the heart, their mouths speak. Continual awareness of who is really teaching our children is what is happening, and the removal of these third right communists is what we will continue to do. As children or children under age of 18, we say stop the indoctrinating, the grooming of the children with your woke union mafia values and beliefs. And then turning around calling it health and wellness, which is not the best for our children. We do not want to continue this merry-go-round of a broken society where the money is never enough and the children come out of the public schools worse off than the past generation. Look at them, and look at them well, and remove the bad apples from the board and the schools. As someone who still continues to stand and teach the religious communist beliefs in the sex ed curriculum, plan for hip, CRT, BLM, Incorporated, subjects to name a few. These aspects of life are not your obligations to talk about. So stand aside and sit in your proper positions positions which are to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. And not be a member of looks into class time. This facade of a public school establishment has reached its peak, wishing to continuously keep everyone in the line as sheeple. Just look at how the indoctrination has led society to believe that killing newborns and unborn was okay. And this is part of a woman's right to choose for their bodies. And then calling this healthcare. That's ridiculous. It's murder.
Yes.
When there's a mammal inside of another mammal, there's two separate entities, regardless of it being delivered or not. It's two bodies and two separate DNAs. Yep. We parents do not want these communist Marxist leaders and teachers. We nominate them to help Biden and the regime to build back better in another country because they build back better is not really build back, it's really bringing back growth.
Who was it again, Penn?
Elder Rodriguez,
Albert Rodriguez.
Nicole Vicario,
Albert Rodriguez. Teacher's coming. Yeah, right now.
Thanks for waiting. Nicole Vicario was next.
Oh, Nicole Nicario.
Blame Mr. Check.
Nicole Nicario. Nicole Nicario. She's already here. She said Nicole?
Yeah.
She's right here. Oh, she's right there, okay. Oh,
Hi,
okay.
good evening.
I guess I should get here first.
I'm an employee at Iowa High School for the district. I wanted to come up with a conversation about the nominating stuff. Their family
members. I'd like to ask the board to find out why I have not been granted permission to give the diploma to my niece. She is an Iowa student. I brought her over to live with me from Colony, and she was behind in grades. I brought her over, put her into the ABC program, and she is now graduating with her class. I spoke with Diana Garboy on April 29th, and I asked her if I could give my niece her diploma. She told me that she was going to look into it and that she would get back to me. I touched base with her again yesterday. She told me that because I did not birth my niece, that I did not have a right to give her the diploma.
Oh my God.
So I asked her why, Ms. Park was a little fuss, but I asked her why Ms. Park was going to be able to give her daughter her diploma and I couldn't give it to my niece. And she stated because Ms. Park birthed her child and you did not do that. So I told her, you know, there's something special about somebody that can bring someone else's child, even if it's my niece, my blood, over and make sure that she graduates high school. And for her not to see the greatness in that is just disheartening. So I want to ask the board if they can find out why she has not granted me permission when all other people have been granted permission to do that for their family members. And then, so that's what I want to say about that. I want to go on to my son, my 3.5-year-old son. We found out he's autistic, and so we're going through trying to get services for him, speech services, OT, because he's nonverbal. And so I just want to kind of touch on the math thing a little bit, just because it's affected our family and many other students drastically. When I called to schedule his appointment because he was approved through insurance, referred to insurance to schedule an appointment with a speech, to get speech and OT, they said that there was a 6 to 7 month wait list in order for him to get services because they are so overwhelmed with how many students, young students between the ages of 2, 3, 4, and 5 that are not able to speak properly due to the mask and COVID restrictions that we've had the last 2 years. I then called the district to see if we could get some assistance because he is over 3 years old, and they stated the same thing, that they, not that they have a wait, but that they are hearing that the counties are having waits and giving assistance. So I just want to say that out loud as my own personal experience, that I'm seeing firsthand that it's going to be very difficult to give my son services because of the restrictions and things we're having for COVID, and they really did affect our younger generations. Thank you.
Who just?
We meet again.
My name is Tyra Weiss. I am a Chino resident and a Pomona school teacher. I'm reading on behalf of one of your CSCA employees. As a Chino homeowner for more than 20 years, a mother of 3 CWSD children, and as a CWSD instructional aide, I am distraught at what is happening in our district. Members of our school board are forcing their own agendas rather than working with our teachers, parents, and community for the betterment of our schools. They pander to a loud, disruptive minority, many of whom do not have students in CWSD schools. For too long now, at the hands of members Cruz and Knopf, time and money have been wasted on non-school business items. These members' prejudices, biases, and religious fervor have left our district battered and in debt. Divided and suffering, they are not doing the job this body has created to do. Working in our schools with our teachers and students, I have seen the damage done as a result of these dangerous and self-serving practices. Deceptions laid out by these members, as well as others who seek to join this board, hurt us all. These people seek only a public platform for their hate speech and lies, rather than to fulfill their oaths of office. They use their public platform for an audience to their personal opinions, not the issues actually facing our schools. This must stop. Our children, all of the children in this district, are paying the price for this school board's lack of honesty, focus, and reason. Our schools stand to lose many teachers and school employees due to this board's lack of unity. I hear it on a daily basis from multiple school sites. Employees are stating that they can't work in this environment and that they can't deal with all of this nonsense anymore. I urge all present and potential future board members to focus on the actual issues facing our schools, to put aside your personal agendas
in favor of doing your actual jobs. Focus on funding and taking care of our students and schools within federal, state, and county guidelines. Let compassion and reason be the order of the day from now on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Byron Gonzalez.
Hello there, my name is Byron Gonzalez, of course, and I am here just to show this sign right here, which is to let everyone know that Chino is against AB 2223. Which is basically getting rid of babies, you know, even after they're born after 28 days. That is evil, that is awful. What's next? We shouldn't allow this to happen and continue to happen, even throughout California. If we look at what's going on, we have a supermajority in California, which is all Democrats, and they're all passing these all evil bills. And of course, this is not a surprise. Of course, the Democrat Party is part of KKK. They were the ones that consistently were racist, and now they seem to say that they are anti-racist. So please send a message to Sacramento that we are against this bill. Thank you.
We're now item 1F, changes and deletions. Are there any changes or deletions? Section 2, actions. We're now at action items. Before we begin, I'd like to ask the consensus to bring forward item 2B1, the 2022-2023 student member of the Board of Education, so that Ms. Maya King can leave, if she wishes, after we take action on the item and administer the oath of office to her. That way she'll be able to focus on her end-of-year testing and studies. Do I have consensus?
Yes.
Yes. With that, the first action item this evening is item 2B1, the 2022-2023 student member on the Board of Education. Item 2B1, 2022-2023 student member on the Board of Education. Recommend that the Board of Education approve Maya King of Chino High School as a 2022-2023 student member of the Board of Education and administer the oath of office. Are there any speakers? Board members, I'd like to share a little bit about Ms. King before she gets started. Ms. King is currently a junior at Chino High School, but will be a senior in the 2022-2023 school year. She has always been involved with her school's student council. She will be the ASB president for next year, and in past years, she was the junior class as well as the sophomore class president. Ms. King's other on-campus activities include playing water polo and swimming. Next year, she will also be in the school's National Honor Society. She enjoys spending her free time bonding with friends and with teammates. And now for the official vote and then swearing in. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion from Mr. Knott and a second from Mr. Bridge. Comments, questions, and discussion from Mr. Bridge? Ms. Kim?
All right, well, I just want to say congratulations. I first want to commend you for taking on the role of representing 28,000 students in a district of education. Your voice and influence on this board has the potential to create so much positive change, and I'm sure you'll use that power next year to influence countless students throughout your term. Being a student board member isn't just sitting on a cool chair and voting. It's about ensuring that students have a substantial seat on the dais, and that they're able to actively participate in the decision-making process that shapes their learning experience. It's also about traveling between the students and the adult realm, making sure that students know what's going on in the board, and vice versa, that the board knows what's going on with the students, so that our governance is focused on our student needs. In this position, you will need to make many decisions, sometimes on matters of lighter weight, and other times on crossroads that will impact the experiences and safety of thousands of students. With great power comes great responsibility, and this is definitely a very heavy position. However, it's also a great, exciting learning experience. You'll get to learn the inside outs of local education governance, connect with so many inspiring local leaders, faculty members, parents, community members, and students, and ultimately grow as a person. From my year on the board, I can assure you that this is an experience that stays for a lifetime, and it's definitely something you can look forward to being a big highlight of your final year. If you ever need a helping hand or board members, our youth engagement director, Mr. Bennett, your Superintendent Enfield, our wonderful CWSC community, and myself, since I'm not graduating next year and still sticking around. We're all here for you, and we're all here to help you out. Congratulations again, and I'm very, very proud to be passing this on to you for the 2022 school year.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments to the board? Okay. Well, it's now my pleasure to swear in Ms. King. So Ms. King, if you would approach the podium.
Do you want to take the vote first?
Jump the gun here. Okay. All those in favor of appointing Ms. Maya King as the student board representative, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Preferential.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 with preferential voting yes. Now it is my pleasure to swear in Ms. Maya King. Thank you. Maya, if I could please have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Maya King. I, Maya King. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of California. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation or purpose. Of evasion. That I will well and faithfully discharge. The duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations, Ms. King.
You just got it. You just got it.
King, if you would like to address the board, you're able to do so at this time. So the board like to make any comments to this case before she leaves? Mr. Knopf?
Yeah, well, I'm so happy that you will be able to represent not only your fellow students, but all the students in our school district. But also remember that you are the future, you are the hope of all this. And whatever we can do to support you, let us know, so that we could support other students as well. Every life matters, and everyone is so important and very precious. And I know this is an appointment, it's a higher calling, and I'm sure you'll do a great job. Thank you.
Congratulations, and we look forward to having you here on the dais, hearing your thoughts, your concerns. Coming in at a perfect time for the Chino High community as we continue to watch the school being built and look forward to having it finished this summer and opening up. So welcome, and we look forward to having you on board next year.
Any other comments? Mr. Schaefer?
Yes, Ms. King. As the board member said, congratulations. Look forward to working with you. It's a big task. We have a lot of students in this district, but I look forward to working with you and seeing what you have to say, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job of representing parents.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Well, Mrs. King, I want to welcome you to the board. I look forward to working with you, and I'm sure on behalf of my colleagues as well, if you have any questions about how the board operates or want to use any of us as a resource, please feel free to do so. But we are very excited to work with you. Let's give another round of applause for Ms. King. We're moving back to our originally agendized action items. So we are now at item 2A. Item 2A1, request for determination to put an item on the agenda. Recommend the Board of Education determine if Board Member James Knopf's request to place an item on the agenda, podium AB2223, reproductive health, is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board. Pat, are there any speakers? Before we hear public comments, I'd like to explain a couple of things for clarity to the Board and the public. First, for the Board, I will ask for a motion and a second to place the item on the floor for discussion. At any given point during this discussion, a Board member may make a motion to either approve the request or to deny the request. This will require a second and a vote after discussion, if any, will be taken on that specific motion. Second, the result of the vote based will determine if we move on to item 2A. That means if there is a majority vote of yes to approve the request, the Board will move on to item 2A2. However, if the Board votes no, the Board will not move on to item 2A2. This means the item is essentially withdrawn. Are there any questions from the Board related to my explanation? I don't see any lights, I don't see any motions to ask questions. So, Pat, please call the first speaker.
Trina Tudrick, followed by Jim Gallagher, followed by Lee Wenberg.
Hi, my name is Trina Tudrick. I've been a part of this community since 1993. My daughter Tressa graduated Chino Hills High School in 2011, was a sports anchor for both NBC and CBS in Phoenix, and a two-time Emmy recipient. My son Mikey graduated in 2012 and is an IT coder. My youngest Marcus will be graduating this year with a dual degree in high school and ROP cosmetology, completing 1,600 hours and preparing for his state and licensing test. So to the many teachers in our district, I gratefully say thank you. I have also in the past brought to your attention a bill that would have mandated healthcare facilities found to be getting kindergartners pelvic exams, AB 1363. You voted a resolution condemning and informing our state capitol that we would not agree. So for that, I'm grateful and I thank you. Tonight, I stand before you, regardless of your values, moral convictions, political stands, liberal or conservative, or even religious choice or not, on something we all can agree on, something we can all stand together, something we can all be united on. That is, we will not ever or allow and agree to the murder of babies once delivered, let alone perinatal. Defined as it stands after 28 days after delivery, that is being born. This, my friends and school district board members, is murder without consequence. I'm officially requesting that a resolution be brought to vote against AB 2223, against infanticide of any kind or any such crafted repackaging, rewriting of this bill in the pristine future. As a community that you represent by our votes, our individual votes, the value of our future students is and should always be your utmost concern. I also, for the record, am putting Sacramento on notice that any elected official, you can and will be replaced for agendizing the murder of babies. As a believer, our Bible says in Psalms 1:6, the Lord watches over the way of the just, but the way of the wicked leads to ruin. We can all agree this is truly one of the most egregious pieces of legislation against humanity. The murder of an innocent, breathing, living baby. I'm asking you all to be just and lead accordingly on this National Day of Prayer. Thank you so much.
Board members, staff, and also fellow residents. I'm reading a letter from a parent in the community on this. And regardless of how we feel emotionally about AB 2223, I think these points should be considered. She writes, Board, it seems a shame that I'm writing for a second time about folks in a position of leadership that are wanting to waste precious time at school board meetings when we have reports indicating teachers are experiencing the lowest numbers in satisfaction and the highest in burnout. We should not be allowing religious extremism or religion at all to have anything to do with the matters of classroom instruction or board business more broadly. As we all know, AB 2223 doesn't allow for infanticide, and is suggested is clearly an attempt to stir up emotions and pander to their political and religious base. It plays with feelings and distracts from issues that actually need attention. I'm only reading this. This should not be allowed to have any part in a school board meeting. As I became aware, she writes, of how much influence a local church and their members were trying to have over public schools, I was appalled, she writes. There are religious schools for a reason, and my children should not be subjected to these extremists. Freedom of religion includes freedom from religion. They should be ashamed. Their favorite book even warns. This is from the Bible. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness. This is James chapter 3:1. Now, since I have
taken out of context,
she writes, since I have 6 Chino Valley students in my family, I am unable to attend in person, but I want it recorded. This particular member of the community thinks this talking point need not be given at any time at any board meeting. So that's her point, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill.
I'd like to remind the audience that everybody here has a right to speak, and we want to hear everybody's comments. We also have people in overflow trying to hear what's happening in the boardroom, so I respectfully request that we allow speakers to speak uninterrupted during their time.
Good evening, Superintendent Infield, Christine Gagner, I can't pronounce your name properly either, President, school board members. My name is Lee Genvier, I'm a Chino Hill resident, and I'm glad that Jim brought up these things regarding the Constitution and all. This is why we have a Constitution class every Monday night at 6 o'clock at Archibald's with Douglas Gibbs. Really can teach us a lot about the U.S. Constitution as it was written. And it does allow for bringing these items up to redress at the school board, at the city council, at the planning commissions, in Sacramento, or over at San Bernardino at the Board of Supervisors. These are the things we need to bring up. And items like AB 2223, which is perinatal, in reality, infanticide, or murder of the unwanted children up to 28 days. The state of California already has assisted suicide to help get rid of the older folks. The state is looking at ways that we can get rid of people who are deemed unwanted, unnecessary, that don't produce enough. This is wrong. This was, as we saw in a certain movie many years ago called Soylent Green, it's coming to bear. We need you to please write this letter to Sacramento that we do not want our children that are born to be subject to murder because they're unwanted, because they have some disease or something. There are people out here who will take care of them. Our church, Outreach Out to Chino Hills, has programs for women who are in trouble that we will give them whatever services necessary to save that child, to save that woman, to save that young lady. If they need a home for that child, we will find them a child. There are parents out here that would love to have more children. There are people who would love to be parents who can't be parents. We'll take those children. We will give them a home. We'll give them life and keep them alive. And whatever it takes, we'll take care of them. So please, pass this letter, pass this agenda item, and please put this into B for Sacramento to be put on notice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shaw again. I thought long and hard about what to say today, but it is National Day of Prayer, and I'd rather lead us in prayer because honestly, prayer, and we need constant prayer continuously. So if those that would like to pray, bow your head with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you today and we thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be made for a time like this. Thank you for allowing us to come together. Thank you for bringing us together for your purpose, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to just be here and fight for these babies. Please, Lord, in heaven, please, we just ask you to remove anything that isn't of you. We constantly ask that, and that's why in my heart I know that these things are being revealed, although they make us nauseous and sick, and if they're evil, they're being revealed because you are allowing them to be exposed. And right now, we need those things removed, Lord. We just ask in your name that they're removed and that you continue to put protection over our children. Our children need you, Lord, more than anything. This last 2 years have shown us our children are at great risk, and we just ask that you come over and you just put your hands and your love over them, and you use us, Lord, to continue to protect them. We love you, Lord, and we will continue to do what you call us to do, regardless of the pain that people may come at us with. We know it comes with a price, and we're willing to take that price because these babies are worth every part of it, Lord. We love you with all of our hearts. We continue to ask you just to guide us and to protect us and to protect these babies. We will do everything that we can in your precious name, amen.
Amen.
Followed by Oscar Avila, followed by Gabby.
Good evening, members of the board. I would like to commend Vice President Chino for bringing to attention to this horrific bill, AB 2223. While this bill may not immediately impact schools in the short term, your position as pillars and elected representatives of our community makes your voice one of significant importance. Beyond the financial repercussions of unrealized income from children who would potentially be slaughtered after birth, right here in our own community, the question is a moral one. It is not a question of any specific religion, but of humanity at large, and whether or not we as a nation even possess a moral compass of any kind any longer. The way you choose to vote on this resolution will speak volumes as to your position on human rights, the value of human life, and the vitality or lack thereof of our nation's Constitution. As for me, I was born here in the state of California, and on my birth certificate is inscribed a date of birth, not a date of naturalization. Because on my date of birth, I was deemed a citizen of the United States upon my exit from my mother's womb. As such, I was immediately endowed with the rights and protections of the Constitution of the United States. For decades, women have flocked to the United States of America from various nations around the globe to give birth here, so that at least their babies would be protected by our beautiful Constitution with the rights and freedoms guaranteed therein. It has been a common understanding that upon the first breath drawn in the USA, a person is endowed with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In Section 1 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, it is written that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. Your vote tonight is not only a vote for or against infanticide, but a vote for or against upholding our Constitution, which we swore to uphold here this evening. Make no mistake about it, this bill is blatantly unconstitutional and even a cursory glance at a grade school knowledge of civics. And should this heinous bill become a law, it will undoubtedly find its way to the Supreme Court to be challenged. The Becky Wicks team's little addition of pregnancy-related causes tacked on to perinatal death has not in the least assuaged the grotesqueness of the intent of AB 2223. It is intentionally vague so as to invite the broadest brush of judicial interpretation, and thereby create precedents for all future cases, no matter how unconstitutional and unlawful it is. So the question remains, what side of history do you want to be on? The side that ignorantly approves of a bill fraught with ambiguity, legal doublespeak, and flagrant constitutional infringements bound to be discovered and overturned in the highest court in the land? Or are you going to act wiser than the radical state legislatures and call this bill for what it is? Illegal endorsement of first-degree murder and mafia-style coalition against the courage of law enforcement officers who face a $25,000 fine should they investigate such deaths. I urge the members of this board to decry AB 2223 as the egregiously murderous bill and affront to the Constitution that it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Followed by Gabby Reyes, followed by Benjamin Maxwell.
Good evening once again, board members. It breaks my heart to even have to, I never thought of my wife. I never thought that I would ever have to come in and defend abortion, but most of all, full-term abortion, maybe even post-abortion, you know, or, you know, that's what they would call it. But, you know, we're in a place in history now, for our country. If you look at other countries, Germany, even Europe, a lot of countries that suffered tragically, victims in the U.S. to people of color, minorities and stuff, you know, experimented with people, you know. There's 14th Amendment for that reason, you know, that separate equal is not the same, you know, that you can't separate somebody, you can't distinguish from one race to another race of color, you know. So we know that there's a history teacher here that would know that at one time in this country, we judge people on the color of their skin, right? If you were a certain color, you know, you couldn't go to this school, you couldn't drink that water. So now we're literally attacking the least of the people in this country. We're attacking the babies. We're attacking people that are not even born, that are born to babies. If I have a child and if I leave my child and I don't feed him, you know, social service comes after me and I go to jail again. You know, so now we're making the bill that we're making it not illegal to by accident or by purpose to kill a child. Let a child starve to death. Let a child die. You could have somebody say, well, I was stressed out or I'm having or depression or something. You could literally ignore your child and child would die. Nothing would happen to the person. So as a parent, when I brought my daughter home 14 years ago, I knew that I had to carry her. I had to put her in a car seat. It had to be the proper car seat. It had to be legally approved by the CHP. You know, I mean, I had to be so careful because of my daughter, right? But now we're talking about eliminating these rights, eliminating these things that cover our kids to protect them, right? By making a law that would make it not illegal to have your child die for whatever reason within 20-some days. It's ridiculous, you know? And I know we've heard people say that somebody wrote a letter. That's a bunch of hogwash. If anybody has a real problem with us fighting for life or we're talking about, you know, the sanctity of life for a child, you know, it would be here, right? So anybody that comes and say, I had a letter from a member, that's a bunch of baloney, that's lies. So you gotta stop lying, Jim, you know? So it's a bunch of lies. Nobody that had a heart for a child or a heart for something and so forth, they would come here. And I'm coming here, not because I want to, because I could be watching a game or something, you know? But I'm here, I'm asking you to be our voice, protect our children, because these kids that are being born right now are going to be in your school. They're going to be under your care. So speak up from now, right? Do it. If you can't do it now for the least of them, what do you do for the ones that are older? Yeah. That one now, okay? Thank you. I'm good.
Gabby Reyes, followed by Benjamin Maxwell, followed by Gail Parker.
Hi. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Gabby Reyes. Representing Chino, I'm here just to speak on the sanctity of life and why I think it's so important to speak on behalf of these babies. I'm not sure what side you guys stand on, but I believe that you guys all, you're happy to be alive right now, right? You're happy that you're breathing. I think these babies deserve life. Their lives do matter. And I really believe that this bill is evil, and I'm asking you guys to please oppose this bill. I'm in opposition, and I'm asking you guys to please send a letter and vote with your heart. Please, I want to, if you guys know this song, I'd like you guys to just sing this song with me. It's a children's song, and this is for the children who have been lost because of abortion, and the children that will be lost if this bill passes. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Psalm 127:3 says, children are a gift from God, and the fruit of the womb is his reward.
Yes.
Thank you.
Benjamin Maxwell, followed by by Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker.
Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Parker, followed by Howard Parker. Hi, Gail Par
Thank you for having me. My name is Benjamin David Maxwell. I'd like to start by thanking James Null for bringing this. He's being a faithful watchman by doing so, bringing this evil to the light, and giving the members of the board the opportunity to stand together with the rest of the citizens here locally and also in California, and oppose AB 2223. We collectively plead with the board to use the power that has been given to you by the members, by the citizens that are out here, to vote and bring a resolution stating that you oppose AB 2223. I promise you that a resolution will allow us to be able to see where you all stand, especially when we talk so fervently about educating children and representing the individuals that you all teach and send out into the world. But first remember that it starts in the womb. It starts in women's bellies. When men and women come together, we make those babies and we send them to you all and trust you all to teach our children. I've heard a lot of things today that are absolutely disgusting about the things that are going on inside the school districts. And so to the letter that was sent to you all, speaking about how we shouldn't be putting our religion or our morality onto the children in the school. That's actually what's exactly being put onto children in the school. Is they're being taught immorality. They're being we're legislating morality. And I would just like to remind you all again, for the voted members in, that just like individuals that vote for that legislation, if you all don't go along with this and help us pull on the reins to bring the school system back to what we need it to be, where it's a teaching education, and we're raising these individuals to be productive members into our society, again, starting in the womb. That weight will be shown on the ballots. And so I just want to urge you all again, plead you all again, to come together with James Null and vote for to bring a resolution to vote to oppose AB 2223.
Followed by Howard Parker, followed by Wendy Rodriguez.
Hello, my name is Gail Parker, and I just want to say hello. Thank you for having us. And I grew up in Chino. I grew up in the school system here in Chino, and I am here to support James Null. And I am so grateful for your bravery and your courageous stance in opposing AB 2223. No one has the right to choose who lives and who dies. Amen. God is the author of life, and I'm so grateful. Are you grateful that you're alive? I am. Yes. So I'm asking you to take a stand against AB 2223 and let God choose who lives. Amen.
Howard Parker, followed by Wendy Rodriguez, followed by Christy Hurst.
Hello, I'm Howard Parker, and I'm just here to vote my support for this resolution to oppose AB 2223. Thank you.
Followed by Agnes Mazur.
My name is Wendy Rodriguez, and I just wanted to say I'm supporting James Null in the resolution in opposing to the Assembly Bill of 2223. Also, I wanted to address, which I wasn't going to, but the Bible that was read about James. If you read down more on it too, it says, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitterness, envy, and self-seeking in your heart, Do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, demonic. For where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are there. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. Now the fruit of righteousness is shown in the peace by those who make peace. So we do have a right, to come before you to sit there and say we do oppose 2223 because it's right and it affects all of us in California. And so, yeah, so and also I want to thank you, James, too, for what you're doing. Thanks.
Followed by Amy Feria.
Good evening, President Gagne, Dr. Enfield, Board, and Cabinet. In honor of Teacher Appreciation Week, I would like to offer my sincere gratitude to the district's educators, both the teachers I've had the privilege of working with and those who are positive forces in my children's lives, to whom I am forever grateful for. I believe there's nothing more influential in my kids' educational experience than their teachers, and because of this, I will always support our educators and fight for them. If you care about kids, then you have to care about teachers, period. Research shows that teachers are the single most important classroom factor in a child's learning environment. Dr. John Hattie synthesized over 50,000 studies, finding that the greatest influence on student learning progression is highly experienced, inspired, and passionate teachers and school leaders. Teacher attraction and retention is critically important, and we must acknowledge that there's no longer a looming crisis of a teacher shortage. The crisis is now. We need to make sure our district is doing everything they can to retain our teachers while also attracting high-quality teachers for the future. The district should be using our energy to support our teachers. Support that doesn't blame teachers for the perceived problems with society, but instead acknowledges that most teachers care immensely about making a positive impact on their students and community. Support that looks like not being publicly vilified at school board meetings by school board members and a loud minority population. It is no secret that having access to a highly qualified teacher in an appropriate class size will meet our students' needs better than being in a huge class with an untrained teacher. And this is what will happen when we can't hire enough teachers. But that is not what we are doing. Instead, there's a resolution on the agenda tonight that has absolutely nothing to do with students, education, or running a school district. An incredibly divisive agenda item that will certainly not encourage new teachers to apply here. Instead of focusing on things that actually impact our kids, we are talking about abortion. Once again, Mr. Na, you are wasting the district's time, energy, and resources that should be going towards our students, my kids, the community's children. School boards have no authority over abortion, or does it have anything to do with running a school district? As presented by Mr. Na, the rationale for this resolution includes twisting logic to make abortion about our kids and our schools. But AB 2223 has absolutely nothing to do with our teachers, our students, or this school district. Mr. Na and Mr. Cruz, you must stop using our school district for your personal, political, and religious agendas. Tonight, I am calling on our board majority to put a stop to this resolution right now. We need to send a message to those trying to divide our community. We will not allow them to divert resources from our kids any longer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agnes Mazur, followed by Amy Feria, followed by Patricia Garcia.
Good evening, President Gagne, Board, Dr. Enfield, Cabinet, and Community. During this Teacher Appreciation Week, I want to express my immense gratitude to the teachers in this district. My daughter has thrived this year in her elementary school, and that is because of the hard work, dedication, and care of her teacher, the rest of the staff, and the administration. However, I am very concerned that our district is not doing enough to attract and retain teachers. In the last 2 years, teachers have had to shift from in-person to virtual back to in-person instruction. Throughout it all, they have had to manage long work hours and immense stress while also having to take care of their own families. This year, students arrived with many academic, social, and emotional needs. At the same time, there has been a shortage of substitute teachers. At my daughter's school, I saw administrators covering classes all day and teachers supervising both their own class and those of SIP colleagues. These difficult working conditions have taken a great toll on teachers. According to the Labor Department, 143,000 education sector workers quit their jobs in December alone. In January, according to an NEA survey, over half of teachers planned to leave the profession sooner than they expected, and 90% had experienced burnout. At the same time, according to the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education, the number of college students planning to pursue teaching continues to fall. With the looming teacher shortage, we need to make sure that Chino Valley is a place where teachers want to work. We are competing with surrounding districts, many of which provide better pay and benefits. Also, this district wastes a lot of time and resources on divisive political issues that cause it to negatively stand out from other districts. This academic year alone, a board member introduced an anti-transgender resolution that would have gone against California law. Chino Valley Parent Group threatened teachers with legal action for following mask mandates that teachers had no control over. At the last board meeting, a school board candidate introduced the non-issue of CRT. And today there is a resolution about AB2223 that has absolutely nothing to do with education, but is sure to inflate passions and create conflict. As a parent watching all of this, I often wonder at teachers' almost superhuman ability to tune out all this noise, show up every day, and give so much of themselves to their students. However, I think it is foolish to continue to take their dedication for granted. There are other districts and other professions that would love to employ them. The teacher shortage is a serious problem, so instead of members playing politics, I hope that this board can work on real issues. We need our district to be a positive work environment and a clear plan for attracting and retaining the talented and dedicated professionals that our children so need. Thank you.
Amy Faria, followed by Patricia. Really briefly, we're at the 30-minute mark. I just want to make sure we have Amy Faria, followed by Patricia Garcia, followed by Tiffany Guerrero. Amy Faria.
I already spoke. Sorry, they got in there twice.
Patricia Garcia. Patricia Garcia. Tiffany Guerrero. James, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the voiceless. I do want to commend James Knott and Andrews Cruz for taking a stand for the voiceless. I want to challenge Leo Fellows, Grace Clark, Richard Rideout, Sandra Chen, Joe Schaefer, Donald Bridge, Norm Enfield, Christina Gagner, and then I want to challenge Esther Kim and Patricia Kaler and Gregory Satura. I'm addressing each one of you personally. I want it to be known under heaven, and I know hell's in here too, that each one of you, I am challenging you to take a stand against AB 2223. These two teachers that just spoke against making awareness for our children to know right from wrong. Since when does teaching our children to know right from wrong is none of their business? Of course it is. It's every mother's business, every teacher's business. And teachers will want to come to a district that takes a stand for the children. That's absolutely ridiculous. Of course we're going to want to take a stand. And of course it's a children's business. And of course, if this passes, you're not going to end up with any students. But it's ridiculous to say something like that. And we're calling what's right wrong, and we're calling what's wrong right. In the Bible, it reads, in Proverbs 31:8 and 9, speak out on the behalf of the voiceless and for the rights of all who are vulnerable. Speak out in order to judge with righteousness and defend the needy and the poor. We need to have a voice. You were elected. Do you remember? I helped one of my girlfriends that graduated from APU to get elected on the school board. I've been through law school. You have been appointed under heaven, under God. In Romans, it talks about that God establishes the government. You have passed the test. You have been in your seat because God has allowed it. I want you to remember that today, people have come before you from different backgrounds, but we are calling for action.
We want you to be brave like James Knott and Andrew Cruz. This is California. I was born and raised here, and I'm proud of my state. I've been tempted to move to Tennessee, to Texas, to different parts of the United States, but you know what? I love California. This is where I'm going. I bought my own home here. I beg you, does it take for me to get on my knees? I beg you to oppose 2223. Rise up. Go against what is evil. Take a stand. I know that inside of you, you ran your course, right, to sit where you're at. You did what you had to. You worked hard for it. Speak out for the voiceless. It's in your hands. Speak to your friends. Speak to your colleagues. You have a lot of good opportunities to speak to different people about it. I'm going to close with a prayer.
Thank you.
Dear Lord, I just pray that you would please use these people to go against AB 2223. Father God, I pray that you would open the heavens, charge legions of angels against all this demonic activity against AB 2223. Father, give them dreams at night. Let them know that their position is valuable, Father God, and you can use them, Father God. But let it be said that they were challenged here before you, Father Lord, that they would take a stand against AB 2223. God bless you. In Jesus' name, and I pray, amen.
Doyle.
Luna Doyle. It's hard to hear. Calling to see. I don't know. Hold on. There's a lot of people up there, so it takes a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple people.
Elizabeth Doyle.
She's coming. Luna Doyle?
No, Lourdes.
Or Lourdes Doyle? Okay, Lourdes. They're waiting for you. They're waiting for you to speak. Go ahead. Go to the podium and speak. Right up here.
My name is Lourdes Doyle. I live in Southern California. And thank you all for listening to us and our opinions. And I am against AB 2223. And I wasn't planning to speak. I just signed it literally like 10 minutes ago. So of course I'm praying that what I say is from the Lord. But what I would like to say first is that we went to Sacramento a week and a half ago when we had the other one at the Capitol. And what I got to say, we listened, we were there all day. But I did get to go forward and share. And what I said, I had my husband and our two little kids. Our kids are, I would show you a picture, but I would be my phone. They're 7 and 8 years old, and they're beautiful, they're precious. And what we said to the panel that was there was because somebody let them live, we adopted them. We've been married 21 years, and we didn't have kids, and the Lord blessed us with these two. Because someone let them live. Please don't let them kill these kids, because there's people like us that want to give them homes and want to give them a family and love. Okay, but that's the first thing. Okay, and the second thing I'd like to say is, as we've been telling people about this bill, and we were telling waitresses and store clerks and people, strangers, we're telling everyone, and everyone is shocked. Mouths are falling open, and they're, oh, you're just talking about abortion. And we're like, no, this is not about abortion, this is about murder after they're born. I think it's 28 days, I'm not exactly sure, and I did read some of the bill, the literature by Buffy Wins, that woman, but
Exactly.
She's gonna have a millstone around her neck when her hand comes through, so we just pray for her salvation. But what I wanted to say was, we love people, we love life, God, and because God loves life, and we are made in His image. So I'm also a caregiver for my handicapped brother who's older than me, he's 72. And prior to that, we had a handicapped dog named Leo. And we found him as a stray. He was athletic and strong, and then he had a ruptured disc and ended up in a wheelchair. It's a story. Leo, a very special dog. But we don't think you should put anyone down. And this is what I've been saying to people, to strangers, is we had 5 cats and a dog. The dog lived 7 more years in a wheelchair. And because he's alive,
every life is valuable to God. And it should be, and that's assuming that everyone's a Christian, but I know not everybody is. So we are just reaching out to morality. What I've told people is they're shocked to think that people would want to kill babies that have already been born. And I know there, for Christians, we believe that life begins at conception, not after birth. But thank you for your time.
When we go to Pomona, those people that walk in like the dispensary for marijuana to stop, they have no conscience of whatever they're doing is serious. And if you put AB 2223 on this and approve this, just imagine what you're going to have. Okay? Roe v. Wade is not going to affect California. And you saw what LA, how they were doing what they were doing in LA. And our law enforcement, that's a disgrace. Okay? Just imagine years down the line, those people that want to kill a baby after born, 28 to 30 days after birth, they're just going to take it back like if they're returning something. Those people that think ungodly, they're going to do that. And I see them out there, they just walk in like nothing, and they don't know the repercussions of what happens after they do this. It's so simple. Just be responsible. It's so simple. Be responsible. We're all adults. If we do that, and we actually have to, do what we do, and then we actually have a girl get pregnant, whose fault is it? It's not the kids. It's not. And I worked with people that were girls, and they would say, "Oh, I got an abortion." Boasting it. Now you have them on TikTok doing it. That upsets me. And they're going to cry about it because it's not going to, Roe v. Wade's not going to affect you. But if you put AB 2223 on here, you're going to have kids. Boom. Out of the womb. That's murder. That's a death cult.
Yes.
And my grandmother, she was blind and she had no legs. But she said every day she would not give her life up because she enjoyed every day until she had a heart attack. So I urge you and I plead with you, do not go for it. Oppose it.
Please.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank
I do have a bit of a story. My mother was a teen mother. She had me when she was 16 years old. If she did not have me, I would not have been a student in this district. I was a teen mother. I was pregnant at 15. My son is 25 years old. He was born and raised in the city of Chino. He graduated from Chino High in 2014. He would not have been a student in this district had I had an abortion. I'm thankful that my grandmother instilled in me that not to have an abortion and the importance of giving my son life, or else I wouldn't have this beautiful 25-year-old man in front of me and all of the things that he's accomplished in his life as well. It stops there. My kids were not teen parents. Thank God. I have 3 graduates from the district, and it's just that I do want to address somebody that was standing up here saying this does not affect our students in the district. It absolutely does, because we have young women in this district that become pregnant and that look to us for guidance, and they look to us for answers. And I personally know students that are no longer in this district, former students, that had abortions at the advice of their parents, of their grandparents, of their community, and now regret that and go through go through counseling, go through things now to this day because of that decision that was forced upon them. So this absolutely does affect our district, because we stop having children and children stop coming to the district. And like I said, I wouldn't have been a
student in this district. My son would have been, and I went on to have 7 more children after that. None of them would have been in this district.
Thank you. So to clarify, we're going to take a motion on placing this item on the floor. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So motion from Mr. Nah and a second from Mr. Cruz. Item 2A1 is now open for discussion. Mr. Nah.
Let me make a clear statement here, why I brought up this resolution. I appreciate our parents who have shown up to tonight's meeting, even the people in overflow room, thank you. I know that everyone's busy at this time, but you made a point to be here. I made this resolution because devil always loses. Because I love kids.
Thank you.
I love children. I love our students. They came here to take our children away, our students away. I had a conversation with our district staffs. When we're selecting our when we are selecting or recruiting teachers and staff members, we pray that this person would love children first.
Yes.
It's a common sense.
Yes.
Adults without love for children should not be in business of education.
Absolutely.
So are the board members. If you don't love children, you should not be in it.
Yes.
Who would not react if someone would come to your backyard trying to steal your lovely puppies? Everybody would fight for it. I'm fighting for my students, my future students. But who's going to be a kindergartner? Who's going to be a first grader, second, and soon junior high school? And they can wait to be 16, and then they'll be 18 years old. That's why I'm fighting this bill. This bill would kill our children.
Yes.
Now, second point. I brought this resolution to help our stressed out, underpaid teachers and staff members. Here's the logic. The lights that we have on, the computer system that we have to purchase for our children, or the insurance coverage that we want to provide for our staff members has to be paid for by the funds. It's a money game.
Yeah.
We receive funds through the state according to the number of students attending our schools. ADA. If the state wants to take our children's away, then what? We will receive less funds. I'm guessing one student translating to $10,000 a year. Supposedly one student would go to our elementary school system to junior high and high school. That is 12 years. That's $120,000. If we would lose through this bill 10 students, 100 students, we are going to lose millions of dollars. Therefore, we cannot provide enough funds to hire our good teachers and support them in their classrooms.
That's right.
So let's be logical and have a common sense back.
Yes.
We need to protect our children because our education is all about children.
Yes.
And here's the deal. How could state tell us that you could kill a live baby, but you are not capable of teaching them as a parent? That is absurd. Such a disrespect. So I'd like to have, and I'm grateful that you parents have shown up tonight, because you care. You care for our children. And there might be some teachers that misinform, but if they know the truth, I'm sure they're going to oppose this bill 100% as well. Because this is about our education. It has a direct involvement to our district funding. When LA Times reported that the public school system had lost 110,000 students just in 1 year, I tried to calculate, and my calculator didn't work all these numbers because they were too many zeros. But 110,000 students translated into like $1.1 billion of funds. It's amazing the games they're trying to play. They said, don't tell me what to do with my body. And guess what? I don't need the mom to come to our class because we only serve K to 12. We need the children to come to our class and fund our public system. So we need everyone's help in opposing this bill. And by doing it, you are going to make our schools coming back to normalcy, where there's a respect for life. Again, and then I can assure you, I have walked many campuses. Our teachers love our children. And because of that, we also have our responsibilities as educators. We're called mandated reporters. Guess what? And when you see a little child with little bruises, we are obligated to report. But this, what Bill says is that you could have a bad kid and there will be no investigations, no report, nothing. I would have a fender bender driving a car and we want to find out what had happened. Your insurance company wants to know what had happened to your bumper. But somebody has been killed and we don't have to report anything, no investigations. And then our school district, as our school district is concerned, we're losing 500 students every year. That is lots of money. It translates into $5 million a year. And state wants to take more kids away from us. And guess what? The dead children don't count for our attendance. So we must have common sense and defend our children.
Yeah. We have several requests to speak from the board. I'm just going to name the order. Mr. Bridge, Mr. Cruz, and Ms. Kim. Mr. Bridge.
Hearing a lot of the comments tonight, and I know this is highly involved. I mean, we've seen at the state level, someone said that they were up there protesting. I saw what went on at the Capitol and that takes a lot to do that. And you have to put pressure on legislators that way to do that. The one thing that I have trouble seeing is what this board does and the effect that it has on anything up in Sacramento regarding this. If you look at, what's going on this week, I don't have to tell you what's going on this week. You've all heard it. You've all seen it. Yet it kind of amazes me, the biggest story among some people is not the actual draft paper, but the fact that it was leaked. You know, and I'm thinking, so we're not gonna look at the draft paper and figure that's probably what's gonna happen in June. Then he predicted that. I just don't see where this has the kind of impact that you all want. And that's my take. I'll just leave it there.
Mr. Cruz?
You know, you do matter now. Local matters now, especially for the next decade, 20 years from now. And in terms of that leak, that was meant to threaten court.
Right.
That was meant for violence. And from what? Let's face it, from the left.
Yes.
They played really dirty. On the fact that this was going to be a state-by-state decision. So you know you've got to be local. You know that your worldviews are going to be persecuted. So you have to start getting ready for the future because we're in a new world now. And we have to prepare our kids for the future. We'll try our best. But America's not going back. And you know that. The whole world isn't. A lot of extreme things are occurring now. And they're going to push real hard. And so when it comes to local, it's going to be needed big time. And you know, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say, this was my spidey sense. You know, this Mr. Nall's agenda, it was difficult to be placed. In my personal opinion, I think there could have been a Brown Act issue. It could have happened, and this went forward. If you wonder why it's a two-step process, let me read this to you. The background. At the April 21st, 2022 meeting of the Board of Education, Member James Nall requested an item be placed on the agenda to impose Assembly Bill 2223, Reproductive Health, an abstract AB 2223, authorized by Democratic Assemblyman Buffy Wicks of Oakland, intends to abolish California requirement that coroners investigate prenatal death. The purpose of this bill is said to ensure that no Californian be investigated, prosecuted, or incarcerated for ending a pregnancy or experiencing a pregnancy loss. However, Mr. Nall believes that AB 22223 extends beyond that narrative and undermines the future of public education by contributing to the state of already declining enrollment problem. While on its face, AB 2223 is presented as a protection for women ending a pregnancy or experiencing a pregnancy loss, the potential long-term consequences have gone unaddressed. Mr. Nall stated that declining birth rates, including ending a pregnancy results, ultimately in declining enrollment. State funding for public education is tied to enrollment. Decline enrollment means decreased revenues and associated fiscal challenges. Legislative that undermines public education, even if unintended, and cannot go unchallenged. Mr. Nall believes that this is the case with AB 223. However, on April 26, 2022, while reviewing the request, Board President Ganger determined that the issue is not within the jurisdiction of the board, that Mr. Nall thereafter, pursuant to the bylaw, requested the board take an action to determine whether the item should be placed on the agenda. You know, today's vote is whether or not to consider voting to oppose. A statement in opposition to Bill 223. It's a resolution without any power to make legislative decision. But it's about a character and believing in life. And we talk about life. Life begins at consumption. That's where you bring in to appreciate life. Amen. If you're at that level, I guarantee you the man's going to come back again, and the mandatory vaccine's going to come back. And let me tell you, this will go far. And what is worthy of life? 7, 28 days, 3 months, 5 years, 8 years. Senior citizens, the disabled, they're going to take it all away. And this is so important to have this communication with local people here, discussing real issues, so everybody can see what's going on. So these things can stop. And it's so important to send a message to Sacramento that our community knows that this matters. And we're hell-bent that this all never comes into being in this area. And the right board level, a lot of things will change. You have to, because things are going to get real messy and dirty. Okay? And so you're right, this will be a defining moment to determine board members. And who oust these board members? Because if they're not that well,
Yes,
your
that's
kids.
That's right.
Just because of this, we tolerate so much BS.
The left is not
So
the
at the
only one.
local level, that's how changes are gonna start happening. You're gonna see splits of counties moving away, because I'm gonna be real honest. There's been a lot of cheating going on in California, because I don't believe California, the people are willing to deal with this kind of crap that's bringing up. Cheating has resulted in this bad policy.
Yes.
And it is time to take over, and, it's gonna happen, it really is. But, in the long run, there will be violence, and I do expect that they will vote now, these three. I really do. And that's good, because honestly, if they voted yes, we'd all calm down and get all relaxed. Something, it's better off it's like this, because this is serious business.
Yes.
Because your worldview, it's going to be persecuted.
Yes.
And ain't gonna get one bit. Go on after 2 years, AB2223, you know that it would be paying women to have babies. Take them to some safe place, comfortable, to get all with them, and get all those body parts.
Yep.
That's all about it.
And
then sell them to someone else. Down to the gutter, everything.
Then the
And
vaccines.
those are the ones that get destroyed first. Because those that have courage, trust me, evil admires courageous.
That's right.
It is the weakness that die first. It always.
And you worry about COVID, getting a vaccine to save a person.
So community, you keep up what you're doing. You're gonna have to.
Thank you.
I just want to recognize all of your passions, I recognize all of your voices, thank you for being here and speaking to us. And I also recognize that support regulations regarding eligibility and the progress of AB 2023.
We can't really.
Many of us, including students, are developing strong opinions on the topic of reproductive health. However, the school board meeting is not the place to be having this conversation. It is. The logic is that preserving reproductive rights, which back days in the last chapter of people, will significantly impact the student populace with school funding, or even the notion of monetizing life is utter nonsense. Not to mention that the opinion of a school board on a matter of public health will have a significant impact on the outcome of this state bill. And I'm sure all of you are very aware of that, including Mr. Nam. This isn't the first time that we've had to deal with this issue. My peers and I have time to time been disappointed by the actions of some of the board members, to the point where we're no longer surprised by these nonsensical resolutions that pop up every few weeks. Not of reproductive rights, but on the actions of our board members, we were very, very close to a lawsuit back in November. Even separated by political affiliation or personal belief, I think we're all unified in our desire to serve the students. But we are failing to do so with a resolution that completely oversteps the boundaries as a school board and does a disservice to our students. I understand that many of you have strong opinions on this issue, but I ask you to separate those opinions so we can focus on the pressing issues that directly affect the students. So please, take into defense to the appropriate settings and the appropriate authorities rather than a school board. And finally, as my term is soon coming to an end,
This is our student board member. This is one of the students in our school district. We had other students speak this evening, and they have not been interrupted. We let her finish.
Is there 3 minutes up?
Thank you all for the opportunity to serve alongside you. And I also want to remind you our purpose as educational leaders to focus on the needs of students.
Mr. Nam?
This is a perfect example of why you need to talk to your children. when you leave them alone with young people. Okay, so we're thankful for that and thankful for your experience, because the things have been changed. While we're growing up, we had common sense. We had common sense.
We were told what to think, now we're being told.
And today, people often say, what is common is not common anymore. We need to place ourselves in a real deep thinking. I had shared with one of our parents just a moment ago. Certainly when our air conditioner is blowing not a cold air, but a hot air, something's going on, something's not right. But we have been complacent. We have been blindly trustful that somebody will fix it for us. But look at tonight. If you leave your children alone, astray alone, they could make the judgments, or they'll be brainwashed by the wrong people. Without, and you could tell, there's lack of parental involvement. So through your life, through your experience, through love and your care, have and real moments with your children at home. They have been placed for us for a reason, and that is our obligation. But in another note, we need to start this common sense movement growing. It will start in Chino Valley. It might start this very tonight, but that we have been touched. We have been forced to bring back common sense in California. So this is just beginning for something big. And each one of you who had attended tonight's meeting or watching on TV or your computer system, it is your calling to stand up tonight. Thank you.
Whether you agree with Ms. Kim or not, it's inappropriate for you as a city board member to question her family values and the way she was raised and her interaction with the motion before us, or the item before us that we're discussing, is whether or not this falls under the subject matter jurisdiction of this board. Not whether we agree with the legislation or disagree with it. Whether we think that it falls under our jurisdiction. Those are two completely separate questions. And it's time that this board and this district get back to focusing on what's at hand, which is educating. With that said, I do not feel this falls under the subject matter jurisdiction of this board, and I make a motion to deny the request.
Vaccine doesn't fall under it?
Motion on the floor to deny the request. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Bridge. One motion from Mr. Schaefer. And a second from Mr. Bridge. Just to clarify what's happening, there's been a motion on the floor to deny this item, the jurisdiction over item 2A2 on the agenda, just to be clear. We will now have comments, questions, and discussion on that motion. Any comments, questions, or discussion on this motion to deny? Seeing none, I will go ahead and take a roll call vote. Mr. Bridge.
On the motion denied, yes.
Replace.
Mr. Cruz.
Nay.
Mr. Knopf.
Nay. Yes.
Replace.
And I'm a yes.
Replace.
Of
course. Yes.
This motion carries with a 3-2 vote, with preferential also voting yes. Moving on our agenda to item 2A3, resolution 2021.
If you guys want to leave, you may do so now.
3 spots for me to file a unified commitment to a safe and positive environment for all students and staff.
You guys want to leave? You can do
So let's take a 2-minute break. We want to exit the room.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. Maybe like 2 minutes.
It's
Bad
okay.
choice.
It's all right.
Bad choice. Bad choice.
They're gonna be replaced. Remember that when you talk about the vaccine? Yeah. My body, my choice, right?
You will be replaced.
Yep.
Yep. Shame on Schaefer.
All of them.
If you want to leave, leave now, please. No talking inside the boardroom. Please, if you're going to leave, do so. If not, I see some talking.
Excuse me.
Okay, come on.
Excuse me. Again, before we reconvene, I want to remind everybody your school district is a student board member. She is in student leadership at her high school. She was not elected.
You can vote to stay, but you can't stop. Okay?
I would like to address the board. She just said 3, can I address the board?
I'll tell you in 1 second. Hold on. So what happened? I'm sorry, I'm not sure about the angle of this particular camera, but what happened is that they voted on the resolution to oppose AB 2223, and they voted 3-2 to not continue with the resolution. So this is where it was left. You hear the crowd. There was a huge crowd. It was a full house inside, and then we had overflow over here in this room. It was completely full. And so you hear the reaction of all the people that are here. The main reason people were here, obviously, was for this resolution. And essentially what the 3 dissenting, or the people that did not want the resolution forward, saying it wasn't a school board matter that should be considered at this time, or I'm guessing. I'll keep it rolling, just excitement. I thought maybe they would be considering CRT and some other stuff. I don't see it on the agenda, but I went through really quick, and then I lost my. There were very few agenda flyers or handouts, and somehow mine got swiped underneath my chair. So I don't have the rest of the agenda, and I'm not sure how long they're going and where, even if they are CRT. So let me just keep this rolling for a little bit longer. I'm just going to see what's going to happen here.
So they voted against you. The majority was no. Exactly. So bad. They voted to deny the request to vote.
I'm going to turn the camera on so I can actually see what's happening. Hold on.
You vote them out. You vote those three out. They don't deserve. They don't deserve to be on that board.
This is easier for me to be able to see what's going on. Hold on, I gotta X this out. Hold on. There we go. All right. So, yeah, they had a pretty good showing of law enforcement here, just like the Placentia Open School District, which, of course, is the school district that my children go to. I should have filled out a form to speak. I'm sorry that I did not. I had a few things that I would have loved to say. One of the things that I can say, if there is a lesson to be learned on this particular night at the school board meeting, I don't know if you could hear, but the student school board member that had spoken, I'm not sure, you don't call them school board member, but they called them some other name here, but the student that's on the school board dais, when you hear her speak, you see the full indoctrination of the children, and as the school board member who brought this here to the resolution said, is that you can see what happens when you leave the education in the wrong hands. That you could see what she said was indicative of the teachings of a left-leaning teacher, mentors that may be in the school, that kind of thing. It quite possibly was her parents. I would disagree with him. And I can't remember his name. I listened to his name called Wam, or that's okay. That it was not her parents, possibly, or that her parents were not involved in education. I don't believe that is necessarily the case. It could very well be the teaching of her parents, in addition to the teachers that are in the school district. Also, TikTok, social media is a huge thing that we are combating as parents in the indoctrination of our children. So it's not just teachers. It's not just possibly the parents not being involved, because their parents could be, obviously, left-leaning people politically. And so who knows, but her views surely are, she was echoing many of the speaking points of people that have just simply lost their way. So it looks like everybody's clearing out now, so I'm just going to go ahead and probably end this particular broadcast. I hope it helps whatever district you're watching this from. I know we had a lot of people watching from the Placentia Open School District, but if you're watching from any other school district, I think this is an important issue. I do think it's something that could have been heard. I don't agree that they didn't at least vote on it. If it was one of those things that it went as far as being on the agenda item, why not make a resolution in the sense that it does affect the future of the school district in regard to the children being born in this community, and if they are euthanized, as the bill calls for, in essentially that it's okay to euthanize a kid up to 28 days old, then that surely could affect the school district. So on a small way, in a small way, I mean, not small, because it diminishes the severity of killing a child, but in the severity or in the sense that it would affect the school district, I think you can kind of crowbar it in there, and at least come up with a resolution that says, at least the school district is against the murder of children that are born and as old as 28 days old. So I think that was something that could have surely voted on. But hey, we're here. Our Pastor Jack Hibbs, called us as parishioners of the church to be here in support of this particular resolution. We anticipated, considering there's only two conservative Christians on the board, that it would go this way. And so, as normal, that's the way it went. All right, my friends, we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.